All right, get ready, because today we're going deep, really deep into the world of industrial monitors.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, we're talking about the kind of screens you see humming away on factory floors or maybe keeping things running in a control room.
Right.
You might even see them at your local drive-thru. Ever think about that?
Hmm. I guess I don't usually.
But honestly, most people probably just think a screen's a screen, right?
Yeah, I can see that.
But trust me on this, there is a whole universe of crazy cool tech hidden behind those, well, kind of rugged exteriors.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
So today, we're going to crack open the product manual, it's like our treasure map, for a 15.6-inch second-gen industrial monitor.
Sounds good.
And we'll see what makes this thing tick, really get into the nitty-gritty.
Alrighty.
Okay, so first, got to start with the basics, right? Like we're doing a checkup on this monitor.
Makes sense.
So the manual tells us it's a 15.6-inch screen with a resolution of 1920 by 1080.
Okay, pretty standard.
Yeah, so far pretty normal stuff, but then bam, we hit the brightness.
Oh, yeah.
A whopping 300 CDMN.
Wow.
And then on top of that, a contrast ratio of 800.1.
All right, now we're talking.
So help me out here. What does all that mean for someone who's used to just their laptop or TV screen?
Well, you can think of that 300 CDM brightness as like, I don't know, a super-powered flashlight built right into the screen.
Aha, okay, I like that.
It means you can actually see what's on the display, even in those super bright environments.
You mean like outside?
Exactly. Like if it's on a sunny day, no problem.
Okay, that makes sense.
And that contrast ratio, the 800.1, that's about how much difference there is between the darkest black and the brightest white the screen can make.
So bigger is better.
Yeah, the higher the ratio, the more vibrant the image, you get more detail, which is super important, when you need to see those fine details.
Like on a complex machine or something.
Exactly, like maybe a readout with lots of numbers.
Gotcha. So we're talking about a screen that's built to be seen no matter what's happening around it.
You got to...
And that's really important when you think about those busy, sometimes kind of chaotic industrial settings.
Right, absolutely.
But okay, there's this other spec that really jumped out at me, the viewing angle.
Uh-huh.
This monitor boasts a, get this, 8585, 8585 spread, left, right, up, down.
Wow, okay.
I know viewing angle matters, but why is that number, those numbers, such a big deal in the industrial world?
Well, picture this. You're on a factory floor, right? And you've got multiple people who all need to look at the information on this one monitor.
Okay. Yeah.
They're all coming from different positions, different angles.
Gotcha.
Or maybe you've got a digital sign that's outside and people need to see it from all over the place.
Right, right.
With this monitor's wide viewing angle,
Yeah.
everyone gets a clear picture, doesn't matter where they're standing.
So no more crowding around.
Yeah, no more trying to find that one sweet spot.
That's got to be huge for efficiency.
Definitely.
And for safety, too, I bet.
Oh, absolutely. You don't want people all bunched up around a screen in a busy factory.
Exactly. Okay, let's keep moving. Let's talk connections, because this monitor, well, it's got a lot going on.
Let's hear it.
We've got the usual suspects, of course, your HDMI, DVI, VGA, even audio in and out.
Right, the standard stuff.
But then there's this, and I quote, touch RJ45.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Now when I see RJ45, I think Ethernet cables. What's going on here?
You're right to be curious about that one.
Aha, yeah.
So all those other connections, they let you hook this monitor up to a regular computer.
Yeah, or a media player.
Right. But that RJ45 touch connection, that opens up a whole other world.
A whole other world of what?
Industrial control possibilities.
Okay, now you've got my attention.
You can think of it as like a direct line to a programmable logic controller.
A PLC.
Exactly, which basically runs a lot of industrial automation.
So this means you can use the monitor not just to see data, but to actually interact with, like, machines and processes.
Yeah, in real time, no delay.
Now that is what I call hands-on with your data.
Uh-huh, exactly.
It's not even just a screen at that point. It's like a control center.
It is.
And speaking of hands-on, we can't forget the touch screen itself.
Of course not.
The manual, let me see. Okay, it says it's a 10-point touch projection capacitive touch screen.
Catchy.
I know, right? It's a mouthful.
It is.
But what does that actually mean for someone using this thing?
Well, it means you can say goodbye to your mouse and keyboard.
Oh, I like the sound of that.
It's all about direct interaction.
Okay.
And that 10-point touch, that means you can have a bunch of people using it at the same time.
Oh, interesting.
Like imagine collaborating on a design or maybe controlling different parts of a process all on the same screen.
Huh. Yeah, I can see that.
And then there's that capacitive part that's the same tech that's in your smartphone.
Oh, right, right.
But of course, this is the industrial strength version,
Huh.
designed for precision, responsiveness, and it's got to be durable.
So you can tap, swipe, pinch all you want,
Exactly.
even with work gloves on.
Oh, yeah, you got it.
Okay, so we've got a tough screen. You can use your fingers, gloves, no problem.
That's right.
But it's not just the screen itself that's built tough, right? I was looking at the marketing materials, and they're talking about this IMD 156-M200 like it's some kind of, I don't know, armored tank. They
Yeah.
even say it's got an aluminum alloy body for unparalleled durability.
You're picking up on something important there.
Oh.
This is not your typical monitor, the kind you'd see in an office. This is heavy-duty stuff.
I was getting that impression.
That aluminum alloy body, it can handle pretty much anything you throw at it.
Like what?
Extreme temperatures, no problem. Vibrations from heavy machinery, it can take it.
What about dust?
Dust. Yeah, even splashes, sometimes things happen.
Splashes of? Like what?
Oh, whatever. It shouldn't be splashed on electronics.
Hmm.
Aluminum's great at dealing with heat, too,
So it won't overheat.
even if it's right next to a machine that's cranking away.
That's good. Wouldn't want a meltdown just because a machine turns on?
Nope, not this monitor.
Okay, what about this? They talk about meeting EMC standards for robust electromagnetic interference resistance.
Ooh, that sounds serious.
Like something out of Star Trek. What does it actually mean in the real world?
You know how, like, heavy machinery, power lines, even other electronics, they can create electromagnetic fields,
Yeah.
right? And those fields can mess with other electronics.
Oh, so like make them glitch out.
Exactly.
Okay.
But this monitor, it's shielded against all that.
So it won't malfunction just because a giant motor starts up next to it?
Nope, it's all about reliability and safety.
Especially in, well, let's face it, potentially dangerous environments.
Exactly.
So this monitor is not only tough, but it can also handle invisible forces that would mess up other electronics.
You got it.
That's impressive, but wait, there's more. They also mention an optional auto brightness sensor.
Ah, yes.
Is that just a fancy way of saying it dims the screen at night?
It's way smarter than that.
Oh.
Remember we talked about that super bright screen?
Yeah, the flashlight?
Right, so this sensor takes that brightness control to a whole new level.
Okay.
It's always watching the ambient light, and then it adjusts the screen's brightness so you can always see it perfectly.
So like if the sun is setting, it'll adjust.
Exactly. Or if you're in a dark control room, it'll dim itself.
That's pretty cool. It's like a screen that's always looking out for you.
You could say that.
And speaking of seeing things clearly, they really emphasize all the different ways you can position this monitor.
They do?
They've got desktop mounting, wall mounting, open frame, panel mount, cantilevered, like it goes on and on.
Flexibility is key.
What's the advantage of having all those options?
It means you can put this monitor anywhere.
Anywhere.
Well, pretty much. You can put it on an arm at a workstation. You can embed it right into a control panel.
Could you even, like, hang it from the ceiling?
You could.
Wow. That's wild. It's like a monitor that can do yoga.
Uh-huh. I like that.
But before we move on, there are a few more things that have me curious.
I was wondering about those.
I saw stuff like industrial PCB, IP65 protection, and 724H operation.
Yeah, those are interesting.
That's where things get really interesting, right?
You could say that?
What are we talking about here? Those little tidbits. What do they hint at?
Well, that industrial PCB that suggests you can customize the circuitry.
Customize it for what?
For whatever you need, you could add sensors, special controls. It's very versatile.
Huh.
Then there's the IP65 protection rating.
What does that mean?
It means it's totally sealed against dust, and it could even handle water jets.
Like you could hose it down.
Yeah, and it would keep running.
And then 724H operation, that's what, 24/7?
This monitor is designed to be on all the time, nonstop.
Wow, this thing is like the Terminator of monitors. It just won't quit.
Yeah,
It's definitely not your average desktop monitor.
definitely not.
But before we get too carried away with all this cool tech, let's take a step back.
Okay.
What does this all actually mean for someone who might want to use an industrial monitor?
You're right, it's easy to get lost in all the details.
Yeah.
But in the end, it's about finding the right tool for the job, right?
Right.
And to do that, you need to understand what all these features mean.
Exactly. So let's talk about some real-world applications
Do it.
and see how this monitor can make a difference where it really matters.
Sounds good to me. Let's say you're in a food processing plant. Okay.
Okay.
Hygiene is, well, it's everything.
Yeah, got to keep things clean.
Exactly. But you still need to be able to see what's going on, monitor those processes.
Right, right.
That's where that IP65 rating we talked about comes in.
The waterproof thing.
Yeah, basically, you can hose this thing down and it won't even blink.
No problem.
It'll just keep displaying that crucial data.
So it's like what, a waterproof chef in the kitchen?
Yeah, something like that.
Keeping an eye on everything.
Making sure the recipe is followed to the letter.
I like it, but it's not just food, right? Where else would you need this kind of, I don't know, rugged reliability?
Oh, tons of places. Picture a busy transportation hub.
Like an airport.
Yeah, or a train station.
Yeah.
You need screens that can handle, well, everything.
Dust, I bet.
Definitely dust, temperature changes. It can get hot or cold.
What about people bumping into them?
Oh, yeah. They have to be able to handle a few knocks.
This monitor can handle all that.
And more, it'll just keep giving people the information they need.
Even in the middle of all that chaos.
Exactly. It's like the ultimate travel guide.
That never gets lost.
Or tired of answering questions.
Haha, perfect. Okay, I'm seeing how versatile this thing is.
It is.
But we didn't talk much about that industrial PCB and how you can customize it.
Right.
Can you give me some examples? What kind of things are we talking about?
Let's say you're running a manufacturing line, okay?
Okay.
And you've got some pretty specialized equipment. You could actually build this monitor right into that equipment.
Oh, wow.
And then use that industrial PCB to add custom circuits.
So you could control specific functions.
Exactly. Or maybe collect data from sensors, even trigger alarms.
It's like having a custom-made control panel.
Built right in.
So it's not just displaying information, it's like, what, part of the machine itself?
Yeah, you could say that.
That's pretty amazing, but I'm sure some people listening are thinking, okay, that's cool and all, but what's the real benefit?
That's a fair question.
What impact does all this have on a business?
Well, think about it. You can increase efficiency, reduce downtime.
That's always good.
And improve safety, too.
Okay, how?
By having this monitor right there in the process, you can see exactly what's happening.
Real-time feedback.
And you can spot problems before they become big problems.
Makes sense. It's like having a whole team of experts watching everything.
Constantly monitoring, making adjustments, keeping everything running smooth.
That's a powerful image. Okay, we've covered a lot. From brightness and contrast to real-world uses.
We have.
Is there anything else about this monitor that really stands out to you?
What really gets me is how this monitor connects the digital world and the physical world.
That's interesting.
It's not just a screen, it's how we interact with our environment.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Whether it's controlling a machine or just seeing information quickly, this monitor is changing how we work.
Maybe even how we live.
Maybe. It's a good point.
It's easy to get caught up in all the tech stuff, but really, technology should help people make things better, safer, easier.
This monitor is a great example of that.
Absolutely. But before we move on to our final thoughts, what about that 1000 plus nit display? You mentioned earlier, you said it takes brightness to a whole new level.
It does.
But where would you need that much brightness?
Imagine you're in Times Square.
Okay.
And you got a digital billboard surrounded by all those lights.
Yeah, it's bright there.
Or picture a stadium, the screen showing highlights.
Gotcha.
That's where you need 1000 plus nits.
It's not just surviving the brightness, it's like overpowering it. Exactly. Okay, let's bring it all together now.
Right.
What if someone is listening and they're thinking, this is cool, but is an industrial monitor right for me?
That's the key question.
What should they consider?
First, think about the environment. Will it be exposed to dust, water, extreme temperatures?
Right, we talked about all that.
Then think about how you'll use it, what needs to be displayed, will people be touching it?
Do you need touch functionality?
And finally, how much integration do you need? Do you want a simple screen or something that's part of a bigger system?
It's all about finding the right tool.
For the right job.
And sometimes that tool is a super tough, customizable monitor.
That can handle pretty much anything.
This whole conversation has really got me thinking.
Oh, yeah?
We've been focused on this one monitor.
Right.
But it's just one example of what's happening in industrial tech.
It is.
What do you think? How is this kind of technology changing industries?
It's a really exciting time.
Yeah.
We're seeing physical systems and digital systems come together.
And these monitors are the connection.
Exactly. And that means smarter factories, more efficient processes, and more decisions based on data.
It's like we're giving industries new senses.
Eyes and ears.
So they can see and understand how things work in a totally new way.
And it all starts with a screen that can handle the real world.
A screen that can take a beating and keep on going.
Right.
Yeah, it's like we're moving from those old analog gauges and control panels.
Right, the ones you see in, old movies.
Exactly, to a world where every machine, every process, it's all monitored and controlled in real time.
And it's all thanks to these super tough screens.
It's kind of wild when you think about it.
It is. And it's not just about the screens themselves. It's the data they collect, the insights they give you.
So you can make better decisions.
Yeah, optimize everything, find new ways to do things.
That's not just tougher, it's smarter.
Exactly.
This whole deep dive has been really eye-opening for me.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta admit, before this, I never really thought much about industrial monitors.
I get it.
Like, I knew they existed, but I didn't realize how much technology goes into them.
It's easy to take them for granted.
Yeah, especially when they're designed to just blend in, just work.
But they're out there working hard.
In all sorts of tough environments.
Things running.
They're like the unsung heroes of the tech world.
I like that.
Quietly doing their jobs, keeping things going behind the scenes.
But now, we know the truth.
We've seen behind the curtain.
We appreciate them for what they are.
Technological marvels. But okay, we've got to wrap things up soon.
Time flies.
So, as we finish up this deep dive, let's leave our listeners with something to think about.
A little food for thought.
We've talked about the specs, the tough design, all that.
We have.
But what does it all mean for the future? What do you see happening as this technology keeps evolving?
Oh, I think we're just getting started.
Yeah.
As these monitors get even tougher, even smarter, we'll see more automation, more data-driven decisions.
Like those smart factories we talked about?
Exactly. Smarter infrastructure, too.
It's exciting to think about. Machines and humans working together.
Seamlessly, all thanks to information.
And the screens that deliver it.
It's a powerful combination.
So to everyone listening, if you're curious about industrial tech, keep exploring, keep asking questions.
And keep an eye out for those screens.
They're everywhere, quietly shaping the future.
That they are.
Well said. Until next time, fellow deep divers, keep learning, keep exploring.
And keep diving deep.
Into the amazing world of technology all around us.